Are you wondering why your honesty never pays off? Why does your truth, telling only isolate you, gets you fired or worse, ignored? You were told that honesty is a virtue, but Machiavelli would laugh in your face. Because in the real world, if you speak truth without power, you invite your own destruction. In this video, we'll uncover the brutal reason why raw honesty is a fatal mistake, and how Machiavelli's cold wisdom can teach you when to lie, when to stay silent, and when to strike. Watch to the end or remain naive and get devoured. You think honesty is strength. You were taught that truth is power, that speaking your mind makes you bold, noble, respected. But the moment you step into the real world, you discover something sinister. Honesty is not rewarded, it's punished. Speak too freely, and you are labeled arrogant. Tell someone what they need to hear, and they call you toxic. Reveal too much of what you really think, and you hand them the knife they'll later use against you. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He didn't write for saints or philosophers. He wrote for rulers, for survivors, for those who understand that in the political jungle of human nature, truth is not a light, it is a fire. Mishandle it and it burns you. Put it in the wrong hands and it becomes a weapon used against you. So ask yourself, who actually benefits when you tell the truth? Does your honesty uplift you, or does it expose you? Does it earn you trust, or does it make others uncomfortable, threatened, suspicious? Honesty is not a virtue when it is unfiltered. It becomes a trap. The more honest you are in a world built on masks, the more you stand out, and standing out is dangerous. In courtrooms, in politics, in boardrooms, in relationships, those who are too transparent are the easiest to predict, the easiest to undermine. They give everything away, their intentions, their weaknesses, their values all laid bare, hoping for respect. But the world does not respect exposure, it exploits it. Machiavelli wrote that a wise man must know how not to be good. That doesn't mean evil for its own sake. It means learning when to conceal your truth. The truly powerful are not those who scream honesty. They are those who wield truth as a blade, hidden, precise, and only drawn when it serves them. They do not shout their beliefs. They observe, they listen, and they wait. You see, the man who is honest out of principle reveals everything: his plans, his fears, his loyalties. But the man who understands power speaks only what must be spoken. He holds back not because he is afraid, but because he is strategic. That is the essence of real strength: restraint, control over your truth, timing over transparency. Raw honesty is a confession. It makes you vulnerable. It gives people data, and data is ammunition. When you express doubt, they remember. When you criticize power, they mock you. When you expose flaws in others, they unite to silence you. You think you're brave, but you're just unarmed. You walked into a den of wolves thinking they would respect your openness. They didn't. They sniffed out your scent, studied your wounds, and waited for the perfect moment to pounce. And when they do, they won't come at you with swords. No, they'll smile. They'll remind you of what you said. They'll twist your words. They'll play it back. And your honesty, your glorious, noble, unfiltered truth will be used to ruin you. Machiavelli didn't say honesty has no place, but he warned that its place is not in the hands of the naive. When you speak too honestly, too quickly, you hand over power. You stop controlling the narrative and start reacting to it. The world doesn't care about your truth, it cares about its own interests. And when your truth threatens those interests, it doesn't matter how right you are. You will be crushed. What's worse is that once you're seen as brutally honest, you're labeled. People will expect you to say difficult things. They'll use your voice when it serves them and distance themselves when it doesn't. You become the weapon they aim, not the one holding it. Because the man who tells the truth without power becomes a tool, a liability, an easy scapegoat. You believe honesty is always the moral path, but Machiavelli saw the world for what it truly is, a battlefield. And in battle, truth must be sheathed like a dagger, not flung like a banner in the wind. Let me tell you something few will admit. The world is not designed to honor truth. It is designed to preserve comfort. It does not crown the most honest man, it buries him. It lifts up the actor, the illusionist, the one who wears the mask well enough that no one ever questions what lies beneath. This is the great trick of civilization. The more civilized a society appears, the more masks it requires to keep functioning. You were raised to believe that sincerity wins hearts, that being real attracts loyalty. But look closely. Who actually rises, who dominates? The man who tells you what you want to hear, not what you need. The man who plays the role you crave, the leader, the hero, the savior, not the man who exposes the truth you fear. That man is silenced, mocked, or forgotten. Machiavelli saw this clearly. In every court, in every chamber of power, in every public arena, truth was dangerous. Not because it was wrong, but because it disrupted the story. And humans are not addicted to truth. They are addicted to stories. They want narratives that flatter their egos, soothe their anxieties, reinforce their identities. Truth doesn't do that. It shatters illusions. And no one likes the one who shatters illusions. They fear him. So they reward the mask, the man who knows how to say the right thing at the right time, the one who flatters without appearing insincere, the one who manipulates emotion while projecting virtue. That man becomes king, not the one shouting the truth in rags on the street corner. The game is not about truth. It is about perception. And perception belongs to those who master the mask. Watch any public figure, any politician, any CEO, any influencer. Do they speak freely without a filter? Do they confess their doubts, their real motives, their darkest calculations? Of course not. They smile, they nod, they project clarity and certainty even when they're lost. They understand what Machiavelli taught, that appearances matter more than substance, that seeming good is often more useful than being good. Now consider what happens to the one who breaks this rule. The whistleblower, the dissenter, the man who exposes corruption, lies, hypocrisy. At first, he is praised briefly like a novelty. Then he is smeared, then exiled, then erased. Why? Because his truth threatened the illusion that others needed to survive. His truth was too raw, too real, too costly. The mask serves society, the truth disrupts it, and this is not just in politics, it's everywhere. In your workplace, your family, your relationships. People say they want authenticity, but what they really want is a version of authenticity that doesn't make them uncomfortable. They want filtered truth, not raw honesty. Smile when you speak it. Say it softly. Make it beautiful. If you can't do that, they will turn on you. Even religion and morality are built on selective truth. Not everything is said, not everything is shown. Rituals are masks, symbols are masks. Even virtues, when performed publicly, become masks. And that's not a flaw. It's a function. The world survives through performance. And the better you are at performing the right script, the more rewards you receive. This is why the honest man loses. He reveals what others are trying to hide. He refuses the script. He doesn't perform, and so the audience turns away, not because he's wrong, but because he's not entertaining. He's not comforting. He's not helping them escape. The man with the mask helps them escape. The truth teller forces them to wake up. And no one wants to wake up in a world built on dreams. Machiavelli never said, "Don't tell the truth." He said, "Understand its consequences. If you choose to reveal it, know that it will cost you. If you wear a mask, know that you will be rewarded not for what you are, but for what you appear to be." And in most cases, that is enough. You still believe integrity is your shield, that playing fair will earn you respect, that if you do the right thing, others will return the favor. But here's the truth no one dares say out loud: power does not care about your integrity. The world you live in is not a game of fairness. It is a war of influence. And in that war, manipulation doesn't just win, it thrives. You've seen it. The one who bends the rules always seems to get ahead. The one who flatters the boss, whispers in the shadows, plants subtle doubts in others, they rise. While the one who works quietly with honor, who refuses to play dirty, is overlooked, stepped on, forgotten. It's not a mistake, it's the design. Machiavelli understood that morality is a luxury for the weak, that those who cling to absolute integrity in a ruthless world are not respected. They are eliminated. He never said to abandon virtue completely. He said to use it strategically, to appear virtuous when needed, but to never let it become a leash around your neck. If integrity becomes your cage, you've already lost, because while you're trying to do what's right, someone else is figuring out how to turn your goodness into a weapon against you. They'll call you naive, too honest for your own good. And in their eyes, they're right, because they know what you still resist. In real power games, perception matters more than principle. You can be righteous, but if you don't know how to influence, persuade, and maneuver, your righteousness is just noise. It's a flag waving from a sinking ship. Watch the manipulators closely. They never declare war, they whisper first. They sow seeds of doubt. They make others feel seen, validated, special. And in that moment of emotional manipulation, they earn loyalty, not by deserving it, but by constructing it. They don't need to be good. They just need to be convincing. They understand timing, when to charm, when to pretend vulnerability, when to make you feel like an insider. They build alliances with smiles, not truth. They know people don't follow the most honest leader. They follow the most magnetic, the most useful, the most tactful. So while the honest man proclaims what he believes, the manipulator calculates what to say and when. And that's the difference between surviving and ruling. You think manipulation is evil, that it's beneath you, that it's dishonest, but Machiavelli would say, so is war, and yet kingdoms are built on it. So is deception, and yet empires are preserved through it. Integrity might help you sleep at night, but manipulation will ensure you wake up with your throne intact. It doesn't mean you must lie constantly. It means you must learn the craft of influence, understand emotion, learn how to frame your message, know when to be silent and when to speak in half-truths, know how to make others feel like they chose you, even when you planned every step they took. That is power. That is strategy. People don't want truth. They want comfort, certainty, safety. The manipulator understands this. He crafts his words to offer all three. He understands that most people don't see the game being played. They only react to the moves made. And so, while others play with morality, he plays with people. He reads them, shapes them, uses their needs against them. The man of pure integrity walks into battle with his chest exposed. He fights nobly and dies quickly. The manipulator arrives dressed as a friend, and before anyone realizes the war has started, he already owns the battlefield. Machiavelli knew that men are wicked, driven by fear, ambition, and desire. He knew that to win among wolves, you cannot remain a sheep. You must understand the game, learn the moves, wear the mask, and strike not when it is righteous, but when it is effective. Power does not belong to the loudest voice. It belongs to the quietest mind, the one who watches before he speaks, the one who understands that not every truth must be voiced, not every opinion must be declared. The wise do not shout in the marketplace. They whisper in the halls where decisions are made. This is what separates the clever from the crushed. They learn to speak in shadows. You believe that being heard is the goal. You've been trained to speak your truth, to be loud, open, and visible. But Machiavelli knew better. He knew that when you make your thoughts public, you lose the element of surprise. You make yourself predictable, vulnerable. You give your enemies a map of your intentions. The more people know what you think, the easier it is for them to trap you. That's why the intelligent never broadcast their strategy. They speak just enough to keep others comfortable and say nothing that can be used against them. Every word they speak is layered, calculated, designed to conceal more than it reveals. They're not lying. They're not even dishonest. They're disciplined. They know the weight of a single sentence, and they refuse to spend their words on vanity. This is the art of speaking in shadows, the ability to communicate without exposure. You speak when it furthers your control. You speak when it confuses your opponent. You speak when silence would make you seem weak. But you never, ever speak just to unburden your heart. That kind of speaking belongs to children, not rulers. Look at those who rise quickly and fall even faster. Almost always, their downfall begins with what they said, not what they did. A careless confession, a moment of pride, a statement made too soon or to the wrong person. The world took their words and twisted them. Their honesty became a noose around their neck, and by the time they realized it, it was already too late. This is why the cunning man holds his tongue until it's a blade. His words don't wander, they strike. He lets others fill the air with noise. He listens, he observes, and in the silence he gathers power. People mistake his stillness for passivity, but in truth, he's preparing the blow no one sees coming. You must understand there are different types of silence. There's the silence of fear, weak, frozen, powerless. But there's also the silence of mastery, the man who knows more than he says, who waits longer than anyone else, who doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. That man is dangerous because when he finally speaks, the room shifts. His voice carries weight, not because it's loud, but because it's rare. Machiavelli said that fortune favors the bold, but boldness is not the same as recklessness. Speaking boldly does not mean speaking constantly. Boldness is precision. It's knowing when a single phrase can undo a rival, when a public statement can win the crowd, and when staying silent is the loudest message of all. Too many speak in daylight thinking that clarity brings strength, but clarity brings exposure, and exposure invites attack. The wise man builds his influence in the dark. He builds relationships behind closed doors. He asks questions more than he gives answers. He lets others believe they're leading the conversation, while he gently steers it where he wants. The fools reveal their whole mind to be seen as authentic. But the powerful never reveal their full mind, only fragments, pieces, curated signals that mislead more than they inform. This is not deception for deception's sake. This is survival. This is the theater of power. The shadows are not where cowards hide. They are where rulers prepare. So learn this. Speak not when you feel the urge. Speak when you see the advantage. Say less than you know. Promise less than you intend. And when your voice emerges from the shadows, let it reshape the room without warning. You are told that honesty is the highest virtue. That truth makes you free. But Machiavelli knew a darker truth, one that most will never dare to accept. In the real world, honesty without power is a confession. It is a gamble. It is an invitation for betrayal, punishment, and erasure. The man who speaks plainly is disarmed. The man who shows his mind becomes a target. But the man who watches, who listens, who speaks with calculation, that man survives. That man shapes the world, not with loud declarations, but with quiet moves made in silence. He lies when needed. He flatters when it serves him. He tells the truth when it wounds his enemies more than himself. This is the Machiavellian way, not to abandon truth, but to master it. To treat honesty not as a moral duty, but as a weapon, wielded at the right time, hidden when necessary, used always to gain advantage, never to gain applause. So if you want to endure, if you want to rise, if you want to rule in a world that rewards masks and punishes candor, then learn this. Your truth is only as powerful as your ability to protect it. Let fools die for honesty. The wise will survive in shadows and win in silence.